Welcome to the continuation of the discussion on accounting for construction contracts. So last time we ended on the journal entry to recognize the provision, which is a liability account on onerous contracts. So we discussed onerous contracts as those having cost exceeding the benefits. So how do we reverse provisions in construction contracts? So let us look at the example on illustration 2. So meron tayong cost incurred to date tsaka estimated cost to complete for 20x1 to 20x3. We are asked to compute for the profit or loss in 20x3. Okay, so tignan muna natin using our templates, yung contract price at 1 million, total cost, which is cost incurred to date, tsaka estimated cost to complete. So basically, kukunin mo lang yung nandun sa table. So, ang estimated total contract cost ay 800, 1.1, and then 1,024,000 for the year. So, contract price minus yung total contract cost is your expected profit or expected loss. So, meron tayong 200,000 profit expected for 20x1, loss 100,000 for 20x2, and 20,000 loss for 20x3. So, di ba? When the cost is greater than the benefits to be derived from the construction, it is considered as an onerous contract. So let us take a look. The actual total loss on the contract is 20,000. The profit recognized in 20x3. Okay, tingnan natin yung determination of profit or losses. So, ito yung na-compute natin kanina. 200,000, negative 100,000, and negative 20,000. You just have to multiply it with your percentage of completion. 25% for 20x1 is 50,000. For 20x2, not applicable. Bakit not applicable? Because this is an onerous contract. Diba? Sa pag ganito, we recognize immediately yung 100,000 na yon. Yung 20x3, since this is the year wherein makukumpleto na yung construction, we determine this as the 100% na completed na yung construction. So therefore, yung profit to date mo as of 20x1 is 50,000. For 20x2 is negative 100,000, or this is a loss to date. 20x3, 20,000 loss. Okay, let us determine yung pag ang tinanong sa iyo is the profit for the year, you have to deduct yung profit or loss in prior year. So sa 50,000, automatic yun na yung profit for the year. For 20x2, 100,000 negative 100,000 minus 50,000 is negative 150. So this is a loss for the year 20x2. For 20x3, negative 20,000 siya minus negative 100. So kung minus negative 100, that is plus 100. So negative 20 plus 100 is 80,000. So, ibig sabihin lang nito, dati siyang 100, naging 20. So, nagkaroon ng profit for that year na 80,000. Kaya bumaba yung loss niya from negative 100 to negative 20. Kaya naging profit for the year pa rin ang 20x3 ng 80,000. Okay? Let us take a look more using the data ng profit for the year para makita natin yung gain on reversal of provision. Kasi i-reverse mo yung provision na in-identify mo on a particular year once na nakumpleto na yung construction. Okay. So, dito tayo sa last remaining items. So, ito, revenue to date. We know how to compute this. Revenue in prior years, revenue for the year. So, dito tayo sa gross profit for the year. 50,000, negative 125, and then 55,000. Loss on onerous contract is 25,000. How do we determine yung loss on onerous contract na yan? Yung 25,000. We already have computed this. Since ito ay continuation ng illustration 1, di ba meron tayong loss on onerous contract dito na 25,000. Ito nga yung sinet up mong provision before. 25,000. Since ang na-compute mong profit for the year ng 20x1 is 50,000, 20x2 is negative 150,000 or a loss. Ang iyong 20x3 is 80,000. you have to squeeze the item para ma-identify mo yung gain on reversal of provision. Okay? 80 minus 55. That is your gain on reversal of provision, 25,000. Na normally ay kung magkano yung sinet up mong provision, yun lang din yung gain on reversal of provision. Normally ay ganun in most instances. Okay. Because essentially, yung sinet up mong liability ay i-eliminate mo lang naman. Kasi 'di ba ang provision is just a setup of a contingent liability. Okay? Yung journal entries will remain as is kung paano mo siya nire-recognize before. So, dito tayo sa elimination na yung reversal ng provision. So, once na we have completed the construction, it is but proper for us to eliminate the provision account. So, debit provision 25,000, then credit gain on reversal of provision. Let us take a look at an onerous contract. Di ba? An onerous contract and then a zero profit method case. So, meron tayong cost incurred to date. So, ang contract ay 1 million. Then, meron tayong binigyan na cost incurred to date for 20X1, X2, and X3. Remember, this is to date. So, ibig sabihin, yung 825 kasama na niya yung 200. Yung 1 million 20 kasama na dyan yung 825 and 200. Okay? Okay, in 20X1 daw, ABC company cannot reasonably measure the outcome of the performance but expects to recover all contract costs. In 20X2, ABC estimates the total contract cost to be 1.1. The contract is completed in 20X3 for a total of 1.02 million. Okay, i-analyze natin ito using the zero profit method. In 20X1, ABC cannot reasonably measure the outcome of the performance but expects to recover all contract costs. So, ano ibig sabihin yan? The contract price at 1 million, hindi natin ma-identify yung contract cost and expected profit or loss. On 20X2, 1.1 million, ang sabi, the total contract cost to be 1.1 million. Okay. So, kung 1 million ang contract price, 1.1 ang contract cost, meron kang expected loss, 100,000. So, this becomes onerous. Yung 20X3, meron daw cost na 1.02. So, meron din itong loss na 20,000. So, this also becomes onerous. The contract becomes onerous in 20X2. Okay. Let us determine the identification on the year na kung kailan yan naging onerous. So, tingnan mo yung 20X1. Since in 20X1, we cannot reasonably measure the outcome of the performance obligation, hence, the revenue is equal to your contract cost under the zero profit method. Okay, so I want you to take note of this. Pag onerous contract, di ba, kapag yung cost is greater than the benefit or the total contract cost, more specifically, is greater than the contract price, the contract becomes onerous. However, pansinin mo yung statement niya. The contract becomes onerous in 20X2. Bakit naging onerous yung contract in 20X2 at hindi noong 20X1? Because in 20X1, we cannot measure pa yung outcome ng performance obligation. So, yun lang ang sinasabi natin dyan. So, once na nag-negative dito, that you can consider the contract as onerous. O baka merong mga cases na kung saan tatanungin na anong classification ng contract on that particular year. Is it onerous? By what amount? Ganon. So, tingnan mo, the revenue for 20X1 is equal to the cost. In 20X2, the same. The revenue is equal to the cost. So, kung mapapansin mo, this is cost incurred per year kapag revenue na yung pinag-uusapan natin, ha? 825 minus 200, that is 625. For 20X3, 175,000. Paano po na-compute yung 175,000 na yan? E di yung 1 million na contract minus yung revenue mo ng 20X1 minus mo yung 620 revenue mo ng 20X2, that is your revenue for 20X3. Okay? So, 200 plus 625 plus 175, dapat yun ay 1 million. Okay? So, contract cost mo ng 20X3 is magkano ba? Ano bang naka-indicate dyan? 195,000. How do we compute for the 195,000? E de yung 1,020,000 minus 825. Ito. Kasi cost incurred per year. So may gross loss na 20,000 for 20xt. So remember, under the zero profit method, hindi ka nagre-recognize muna ng profit. Kaya siya zero profit, hindi siya nagre-recognize ng profit on the initial years and will only, kumbaga, the treatment is lahat ng cost mo ay mako-cover ng revenue na ma-generate mo, pero yung earnings mo or yung uh, pag-recognize mo ng profit will be only on the last year of the construction contract. Okay? So this is just a continuation. The loss on onerous contract is 100,000 for 20x2, and then for 20x3, since that is the accomplishment of the construction contract, the provision will be reversed. So this is again on reversal of provision. So 80,000 for the year 20x3. So what's the answer for the profit and loss? So for the year 20x1, wala, 0. For 20x2, the loss is 100,000. And for 20x3, the uh, profit is 80,000. Okay. So, what happens when doon sa construction contract ay mayroong mga variable provisions o yung mga variable considerations? Anong mga example ng mga variable considerations na yan? Let us take a look at the succeeding illustration. For example, uh, this example 1, a construction contract sales states a price of 1 million. However, a penalty of 100,000 will be charged if the construction is not completed within 2 months from the agreed date of completion. So, ibig sabihin, meron tayong consideration na 100,000 that which is variable. It is dependent on a condition. Anong condition yun? Kapag hindi na kumpleto, magbabayad ka ng 100,000. Kapag di na kumpleto yung construction within 2 months, ay magbabayad ka ng 100,000. So, this should be ano ang treatment natin dyan when we are a construction company. So, the consideration includes a fixed amount of 900,000 and a variable amount of 100,000. Okay? So, constating estimates of variable consideration, let us look at this. The entity determines the probability of the penalty being charged and includes the variable consideration and thus a transaction price of 1 million only if it is highly probable that the penalty will not be charged. Okay? So, kailangan nating makita if the problem states that it is highly probable. Kasi anong sabi? Isasama mo lang daw yung variable consideration if it is highly probable. So, kung hindi, you will not include it in the computation. Okay, let us take a look at example 2. A construction contract states a price of 1 million. However, for each day that completion is delayed after the deadline, the contract price decreases by 1,000. Whereas for each day that the completion is earlier than the deadline, the contract price increases by 1,000. So, this is also a variable factor. Kasi kapag nahuli ka ng na late ang accomplishment for every day of delay, di ba sabi dyan, mayroong 1,000 na bawas sa ibabayad sa'yo. Pero kung mas napaaga, mayroon namang addition na 1,000 sa'yo. Let us read more. In addition, upon completion, the third party will inspect the asset and assign a rating based on the metrics defined in the contract. If the specified rating is met, the entity will receive a bonus of 20,000. So kung pumasa siya dun sa standard set by a particular panel, ay merong marireceive kapang 20,000. So how do we account for this? So tingnan lang natin yung analysis. The consideration includes a fixed amount of 1 million and a variable amount which the entity needs to estimate using the methods described earlier. So anong mga method ito na dapat ay maintindihan mo? This is the expected value method and the most likely amount. Wala maintindihan mo itong terminologies na ito. On your I guess in strategic business analysis or in statistics, discuss yung expected value method, the probability yung theory, yung pag-assign mo ng probabilities on the happening of a particular decision. So, yun yung isa-sum up mo lang lahat ng probability of weighted amounts para ma-determine mo yung expected value. Kaya nga sabi dito, the expected value method to estimate the variable consideration associated with the penalty. The most likely amount to estimate the variable consideration associated with the incentive bonus because there can only be two possible outcomes, the 20,000 or 0. Kasi pwedeng mayroon kang bonus or wala. Diba? Dalawang condition. And another is yung 1,000 na increase or decrease on the contract price. So, merong mga cases na ganito on the problems na ma-encounter mo. So, you have to be familiar on the treatment of each. Okay, kapag naman incentive payments. Ano itong mga incentive payments na to? So these are rewards for performance standards that are met or exceeded. So merong mga ganyang clause on the construction contract. So pwede na meron kang ma-receive na incentive on a particular construction contract when you perform beyond or you exceeded what is required or yung standard na naka-indicate doon. So, anong sinasabi? How do we measure that? Ang sabi, incentive payments are included in the transaction price and consequently to contract revenue when, in applying the constraining estimates of variable consideration principle, it is highly probable that a significant reversal in the amount of cumulative revenue recognized will not occur when the uncertainty associated with the variable consideration is subsequently resolved. So, just like the previous discussion, dapat highly probable yung factor, yung related condition bago mo recognize yung incentive na yun. Okay? Let us look at illustration. ABC started work on a construction contract. The contract provides for a 400,000 bonus if the building is completed within 4 years. So, meron ka daw bonus na 400,000 kapag nakumpleto yung construction ng building within 4 years. So, cost-to-cost method ang ginamit. So, binigyan ka ng data related dyan. So, in 20x1, 20x2, sabi, it is not highly probable that the construction will be completed. So, wala kang bonus based on this bullet. In 20x3, ABC acquired new equipment and employed additional personnel. This has fast-tracked construction work. ABC company now believes that it is highly probable that construction will be completed within the 4-year limit. Pero pagdating ng 20x3, dahil dun sa new equipment, na-assess na parang highly probable na matapos siya within 4 years. Okay, let's take a look. What if it is a fixed price contract? Ito yung mga discuss natin before on the theory na ngayon ina-apply na natin in a computational problem. Compute for the revenue for the years. Okay? Assuming the contract price is 6 million. So, gagamitin mo lang din lahat yung template na ginamit mo kanina. But I want to give emphasis on the yung pag-identify natin ng mga probabilities, yung highly probable na binabanggit dyan. So, tingnan lang natin, hindi ko na i-discuss yung buong table, but I want to emphasize on the items which are needed to be emphasized. So, tingnan mo yung contract price mo. On 20x1 and 20x2, ang sabi kasi, it is not highly probable na mamimit yung completion within 4 years. Kaya nga, ang contract price mo pa rin dyan ay 6 million. Asan ba yung given related to the 6 million contract? 400,000 yung bonus eh. So, 6 million. Ito. The contract price is 6 million. So, ito yun. For 20x3, magkano ang contract price? 6.4 million. Bakit? Kasi, di ba sabi kasi dito, highly probable na ma-meet yung 4-year accomplishment ng construction on 20x3 dahil dun sa new equipment at additional personnel na in-involved. So, 6.4 na ang contract price mo dyan. Okay. Sir, bakit may increase on the contract price? So, remember, yung asa na ba yun? Yung discussion natin related to the variable consideration, yung any additions related to that. our discussion related to the variable consideration, diba ang sabi it will, ito yata yung tinutukoy ko, yung example number 2. Okay, that is not related, I think. Okay, balikan lang natin, para mas malinaw sa'yo. Okay, hindi ko siya mahanap. Yung diniscuss ko kanina related to that, 'di ba? There are problems wherein yung ganito yung scenario wherein the contract price can be adjusted. Yung it can be adjusted whether it will have an effect on the decrease in the contract price or it will have an effect on an addition to your contract price. So in this case, may addition 6.4 because highly probable on 20x3. So I want to emphasize yung portion na yun. Kasi, kapag hindi mo na-identify yung tamang item ng contract price or tamang amount ng contract price, it will have an effect on your computation all throughout. So, yun lang yung gusto kong i-emphasize on these computations because essentially, yung computations mo dito is ito lang yun din yung ginagawa natin before. Let us look at case number 2, yung cost plus variable fee. Compute for the revenues respectively assuming that the contract price is set as cost plus 20%. So, yung contract price daw ay nakaset sa yung cost, kung magkano yung cost niya, plus 20%. Magkano ba yung cost ng contract niya? Eh, di ba ang sabi dito, this is the cost incurred to date, plus 20%. So, 1,1,960 and for 160 plus 20%. Okay? Tapos, estimated cost to complete ka pa, 4 million, 2,094, 2.94, and then 1 million, 1.04 million. Yun po ang gagamitin mong base figure para mag-add up ka ng 20% na tinutukoy dito. Okay? The total contract cost ang gagamitin mo. Okay? Huwag ka malito doon kasi baka mamaya ang gamitin mo is the cost incurred to date lang. Ang gagamitin is the total contract cost. So, eto siya. 6 million, 5.88 million, and 6.24 is now the adjusted contract price. Okay? However, since this is just case number 2, i-apply mo pa rin yung bullets na ito. Highly probable siya on year 3. So, ibig sabihin, meron siyang 400,000 additional incentive payment. The rest is the same. Okay? The rest, the same pa rin yung way on how we compute things. But I want to give an emphasis on the matters related to yung cost plus variable fee, fixed price contract, yung classification ng contract niya. Okay? So, what happens next kapag naman ang cost plus fixed fee? Kanina, percentage, ngayon may amount. Cost plus 1 million. So, same scenario lang po, i-add mo lang din yung fixed fee, 1 million. So, syempre, i-apply mo yung bullets related to incentive payment, 400,000 in 20x3. Kaya po, ang new contract price is 6 million, 5.9, and 6.6. So, yun po yung gagamitin mo in computing for your revenues all throughout. Okay? Okay, next. Yung cost escalation na tinutukoy. What does a cost escalation means? A cost escalation means na merong naka-indicate doon sa contract na pwedeng yung tinatawag na escalation clause na sinasabi na baka kasi merong mga changes in the economy. Example, yung inflation na yung price, yung labor and yung materials na gagamitin will change over time, especially kung masyadong matagal yung construction, for example, 5 years. Yung presyo ngayon will be different on the succeeding year. So, meron tayong cost escalation clause na tinatawag. So, these should be included or incorporated in your computation. So, ano ang gagawin? An escalation is included or a de-escalation is excluded. Yung de-escalation is the exact opposite of escalation. So, kung tumataas yung cost, pag de-escalation naman, bumababa. Okay, in applying the constraining estimates for variable consideration, if it is highly probable. Kung highly probable yung related cost escalation factor, yun ay tsaka mo palang i-recognize yun in your computation. So let us look at at this illustration. So, meron tayong contract price 1,000,000. This will increase by 5% daw if the cumulative inflation rate exceeds 6%. Information on the project is as follows. So, kung tumaas ang cumulative inflation rate ng 6%, mas mataas sa 6%, ay mag increase din daw ang contract price. So, yan ay naka-indicate dun sa mismong contract nila. So, as accountant, you have to identify those related factors kasi kailangan mo yan in your recognition of the revenues and profits and costs for the particular year in audit or in analysis. So the what is asked is the gross profit in 20x2. So meron kang cost incurred, estimated cost to complete, and cumulative inflation rate. So kung mapapansin mo, yung cumulative inflation rate is greater than 6% on 20x2. So dito natin i-apply yung cost escalation na sinasabi dyan. So anong mangyayari? Simple lang naman yung gagawin natin. Yung contract price will have a 5% increase. So, 1,000,000 times 1.05 is 1,050,000. So, yun po. And the rest, you have to compute based on what we have discussed before. Okay? Okay. So a contract modification is any change in the scope or the price of a contract that is approved by the contracting parties. So meron kang encounter terminology such as change order, variation, and then amendment. So you have to read uh, these items for you to analyze yung the difference between them. But it is easier for us to identify this when we incorporate it in the problems, okay? Yung variation, change order, change in the transaction price. So, essentially, madali lang namang i-comprehend yung dinidiscuss dyan. So, we have to focus in illustrating samples. So, tingnan mo itong illustration. This is an illustration on the change on the transaction price. So, binago yung transaction price. So, on July 1, ABC enters into a contract with a customer for the construction of a building. The contract price is 6,000,000. However, ABC is entitled to a bonus of 500,000 if the building is completed within 3 years. So, kung matatapos ng 3 years, may 500,000 na bonus. So, ang ginagamit na method is cost to cost. Contract inception, ABC estimates a total contract cost of 4,000,000 ang total contract cost. So, in 20x1, ABC meron siyang total cost 1.35 million. On December, ABC does not expect that it can finish the building on time for it to be entitled to the bonus. The estimated cost complete as of the end of 20x1 is 2.4. So, noong 20x1, may possibility na hindi na niya makuha yung bonus kasi daw ay baka hindi kayanin within 3 years na matapos yung contract. On January naman, sabi, ABC and the customer agreed to modify the contract to change the design and the location of the staircase. The modification increased the contract to 6.8 million. So, dahil doon sa customer modification ay nabago yung contract price from 6 million to 6.8. Nabago din yung contract cost na dati 4 million, ngayon naging 4.5. ABC plans to increase its manpower and thus now expects to finish the building on time and receive the bonus. So on 20x2, dahil because of the modifications and the manpower requirement ay parang kaya na palang gawin within 3 years. Okay? So, sabi dito, in assessing the contract modification, ABC concludes that the remaining goods and services to be provided under the modified contract are not distinct from the goods and services transferred on or before the date of contract modification. That is, the contract remains a single performance obligation. So, this is an additional information. Ang sinasabi dito ay hindi naman yung mga remaining goods and services ay pwedeng ituloy para magawa yung modified contract. So, based on this is a single performance obligation. Okay? So, let us take a look at our analysis here. So, kung ganun pala ang cases, we refer to uh, tingnan mo yung costing requirements niya. For 20x1, 3.75 million. Percentage of completion, 36. For 20x2, 30%. Bakit 4.5 million? Because this is yung modification. Remember, ang sabi niya dito na minodify niya ng naging 4.5 million na ang estimated total contract cost because of the new design and the location of the yung customer modification, because of the customer modification, it changed the total contract price. Naging 4.5 million na siya. Kaya nga, hindi na wala nang bearing yung cost incurred to date at estimated cost to complete as of the modification kasi na-identify na kaagad yung total contract cost yung estimated. Okay? So based on that, you can use the related items in computing for your uh, gross profit for the particular years. So, ang gagamitin mong items dyan is contract price 6 million, January is 7.3 million. Bakit 7.3 million? Kasi nga, di ba on January, we estimate na makukuha niya yung bonus. Kaya 6.8 plus 7.3. Tama ba? Yes. 6.8 na kasi ang new contract price at 20x2 plus yung 500,000 pa na incentive. Okay, yung bonus. So, 7.3. You multiply it with your percentage of completion, then you will get your revenue to date. Then you deduct the revenue in prior year for you to get your revenue on that particular year only. And then you deduct your cost of construction for 20x1 is 1,350,000. Therefore, meron kang gross profit for the year 810. For 20x2, wala ka pa naman kasing cost of construction dyan because you already have just modified your contract. Kaya nga, ang gross profit or catch-up adjustment for gross profit in 20x2 is 30,000 alone. Okay? So that is your analysis there. What happens when merong mga reimbursement sa contract o yung mga items na hindi nakaalagay doon sa mismong contract pero nung ginagawa na yung construction ay meron palang mga kailangang bilhin or kailangang ma-incur na cost. So these are mga reimbursement na tinatawag. Inaabunuhan muna ng contractor and then i-request niya yan for reimbursement doon sa contractee. Kumbaga, subject for approval of the contractee. So, yan tinutukoy dyan. Yung illustration 1 is an approved change in scope and price. Ang tinutukoy lang naman dyan sa item 1 ay nag-request siya ng reimbursement because nagkaroon ng delay on the part of the contractee. So, yun ang tinutukoy dyan. So, parang hindi ginrant. Diba? Kaya nga, ABC prepared a claim for the cost incurred on the delay, but the customer disagreed yung contractee. ABC assessed its legal claim and determined that it has enforceable rights. So, kumbaga, there is a pending case before them. So, kung titingnan mo, base dyan sa illustration na yan, ay may right talaga yung contractor to demand payment because nagka-delay on the part of the contractee. Next, illustration 2. There are change orders or variation na merong reimbursable claim. So, ang sinasabi lang dito ay merong contract for 10 million construction ng building. So, nung 20x2, binago yung design and then as a result of that, yung price ay nag-decrease to 2 million. Is decreased by 2 million pala. Nag-decrease by 2 million. Kaya nga makita mo yung example niya. 10 million yung contract price on 20x1. On 20x2, nag-decrease, naging 8 million na lang. Okay? Okay. The cost incurred in 20x3 includes cost of variations in the contract work amounting to 50,000. Okay? Kaya nga yung 20x3 niya ay 8,050,000. ABC assessed that it has an adversible right over the claim. Negotiations have reached an advanced stage that it is highly probable that the reimbursement will be received. So, highly probable yung reimbursement, therefore, kaya naka-indicate yung reimbursement related dyan. So, tingnan natin. compute for the profit and loss using the percentage of completion and the zero profit method. So, tingnan mo yung computation part na ito. The contract cost is 10.1 million for 20x1. Ito yon, estimated total contract cost. Naka-lump sum na yan dyan. Yung cost incurred at saka yung estimated cost to complete kapag ganyan yung description niya. For 20x2, 8.15 million. So, ito po yun. Okay. For 20x3, anong nangyari kay 20x3? Naging 8.1 million. How do we compute for the total contract cost in 20x3? Wala namang naka-indicate pa dyan. Diba? The 20x3 is the last year of the construction. Therefore, yung contract cost niyan is yung kung magkano yung na-incur each year. Therefore, 2 million plus 4.5 plus 1.6 ay 8.1 million. Diba? Dapat kung lahat ng na-incur mo, yun lang yun kasi wala ka ng estimated cost to complete sa 20x3. Kaya 8.1 ang yung total contract cost. Then the rest is what we have discussed before. Yung 100,000, yun yung profit for the year, and then minus mo lang lahat ng prior period profit para ma-determine mo yung profit or loss for that year. So 100,000 loss for 20x1, 50,000 loss for 20x2, and then profit 100,000 for 20x3. Okay, this is under the percentage of completion. Paano kapag zero profit method ang nire-require sa'yo? Kung zero profit method ang nire-require sa'yo, dun ka tumingin sa revenue. Kasi yung revenue, di ba, ang revenue is equal to your cost on the initial years. So, 2 million, 2 million, 4.5, 4.5, and then sa last year, dun magkakaroon ng difference. Okay? So, under the zero profit method, the profit or loss on 20x1 is negative 100,000, negative 50,000, and the positive 100,000 for years 20x1, x2, and x3 respectively. Okay? Okay, tingnan mo lang yung item na 50,000 para madali nating ma-explain ito. Yung item na 50,000, this is lifted from the computation here. Kasi ang sinasabi lang naman dito ay yung related provision. Okay, ito yon. 150,000 expected total loss as of 20x2. Ito po yon. Minus the 100,000 loss recognized in 20x1. Yun yun. Okay? Then, you reverse the provision under 20x3. Okay? Yun po yun. Yung reversal of provision. Kaya nga diniscuss muna yung reversal of provision para madali mo siyang maintindihan when you are here. Remember, nire-reverse mo lahat yung na-identify mo na mga onerous contracts. Remember, onerous contracts yan kasi nga mas malaki yung cost kesa doon sa revenue na ma-generate. Kaya nga diniscuss yung onerous contracts, yung mga losses bago ka dinala dito sa change order cases, yung change modification cases. Okay, let us look at illustration 3. This is output measures with the non-reimbursable claims. So, ABC, meron siyang contract to construct a subway. The contract price is 60 million. Estimated cost 30 million. So, meron tayong data related to output measure of value of work completed to date, 15 million, 52.5. So, to date yan. So, itong 52 kasama na yung 15. Cost incurred to date. So, meron po tayo dyan. Progress billings. In January 20x2, ABC company agreed to contract variation that involves an additional fee of 10 million with associated additional estimated cost 4 million. Assessing the contract modification, ABC concludes that the contract remains a single performance obligation. So in 20x2 naman, ABC meron siyang additional 3M rectification cost for substandard work. So kumbaga parang i-rework yan kasi rectification cost yan. These costs were not included in the original estimates. Okay? ABC uses the percentage of completion based on the value of the work certified to date compared to the total contract price. So, percentage of completion siya, pero based siya sa value of the work certified. Asan ba yun? Ito po yun. Output measure of value work completed to date. So, dyan siya naka-base. So, okay, let us take a look at the problem. Yung, how do we recognize this? On the contract price on 20x1 is 60 million, 20x2 is 70 million. Bakit 70 million yung 20x2? Remember, ang sabi niya dito, yung January 20x2, meron daw additional fee na 10 million. Kaya po naging 70 million. Estimated total cost, 30 million. Okay, 30 million ba naka-indicate? Yes. Pero ang sabi naman on 20x2, may additional na 4 million. Kaya 34 million yan. So 60 minus 30 is 30 million and 36 million naman for 20x2. Percentage of completion is 25 and 75% for x1 and x2 respectively. How do we generate yung items na yan? For 20x1, paano natin na compute yung 25%? Eh di ano lang yan, 'di ba, since ito ay percentage of completion, cost incurred to date divided by the total contract cost. Okay. How do we compute for that? Tingnan natin. 15 million, 'di ba, ang cost incurred to date? Okay. No, not cost incurred to date kasi nga pala percentage of completion based on value of work certified. So, 15 million divided by 60. Kaya 25%. Okay. Yun namang 52.5 divided by 70. Okay, 75. So, the rest is kung paano mo siya ginagawa before. Okay? I want to emphasize yung rectification cost under 20x2 kasi yan ay kailangan in 20x2 para maituloy yung construction. So, kailangan ibawas mo po yan on 20x2. Okay? This is a cost of construction on 20 exclusive in 20x2 kasi dun lang i-rectify yung substandard work. So what's the answer? 20x1 is 7.5 million profit and then 20x2 16.5 profit for that year. Okay? Okay, the analysis of the transactions, you can also use the items. Kasi kung gusto mong makuha you can use the items computed here, yung profit for the year, as you squeeze items related to the revenues, okay, and the cost of construction as an squeeze item. On our next video, we will be looking at the last part of the construction contract discussion kasi medyo mahaba talaga itong construction contracts at medyo komplikado. We will start on the next succeeding video on the significant financing component on the contract. Please continue on the next video for the construction contracts. Thank you.